Hello and happiest of days to each of you folks. I hope you guys are having an absolutely amazingly awesome day today. One of the best you've ever had in your entire life for you folks. Alright, so today is Friday. I do top 10s of typically older things, although some things are more recent. And that sort of a thing too, so I thought it'd be fun since it's like Halloween. I thought it would be fun for me to do my top 10 modern horror films for you folks. Now, if you recall, I've actually stopped doing my top 10s of horror films at the 70s. And that sort of a thing to only one hit that list. That sort of a thing to I typically find that modern horror films aren't as good and strong as older stuff, right? I actually did a kind of video where I talked about why newer horror films sort of rely and lean into jump scares, which are pretty cheap, or things like blood packs or crazy death kills like the Final Destination series, and that sort of a thing, instead of actually, doing a good job building up atmosphere, moods, and that sort of a thing too. And that sort of a thing too. It's definitely not something that the modern horror does very well for you folks. So most of these are going to be from the 80s and 90s, just a heads up. But let's go ahead and get started for you folks. All right, my honorable mention is number 9. That's not number 9. That actually is the film 9. It's animated. It's a creation. This was a short film that was turned into an actual proper film for you folks. It's from 2009. It's by Shane Acker. It's produced by somebody you're going to know, Tim Burton, and then it stars a huge cast like Elijah Wood, John C. Reilly, and Jennifer Connelly. Now, I should have said this up front. Some of these films people might not think are horror films. It's fine on my list. Some of these are going to definitely be controversial on the sides of, is this a horror film or not? And that sort of a thing too. But I don't think that 9 ever got the respect. It's a dark post-apocalyptic film set with an animation style that's great and love lots. Great stuff. It's incredibly strong storytelling. It's got some great visuals and that sort of a thing too. So I adore. And that's number 9. All right, top 10. Number 10 is absolutely a classic of the horror stuff. This is 1999's Sleepy Hollow. It's also directed by Tim Burton too. It's the second time of 3. He's going to appear in this credit list. Heads up. Stars the classics of Johnny Depp, Christina, Ricci, Miranda, Richardson, and some others too. And this is sort of a modern telling of Sleepy Hollow, and that sort of, well, it's modern in the sense that it's a modern take on it. It's not set in the modern days. It's actually set back then too. But I think you'll find ones that I really feel like this is definitely a strong Tim Burton film. Sort of like him just doing all the Tim Burton notes. It's creepy. It's strong. Great stuff. Lots. Number 9 is the last Tim Burton film, but this is also produced by him too. This is the animated film, The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's animated. It's directed by Henry Selick. It's produced by Burton, like I mentioned before. It also stars Danny Elfman, Chris Sarandon, Catherine Heron. I like the previous one. 9, a huge cast, vocal cast, great stuff, lots. So many people might think that this isn't a horror film. And some people might say it's a Christmas film. I think it is a horror film, sure. And it's a Christmas film, too, right? And that sort of thing, too. Now, a lot of folks might say, it's for kids. It's got a nice ending and that sort of stuff, too. And sure, it is. I totally agree. But that doesn't mean it's not a horror film. It's got undead creatures. It's got, them trying to take over Christmas, and that's from Halloween Town. And that sort of a thing too. So it definitely feels like all the horror elements are there, right? And that sort of thing too. So it's my number 9 film for those reasons. Number 8 is Signs. For you folks, this is from 2002. It's also one of the more recent ones on this. It's directed by M. Night Shyamalan. The first of a couple of his films that are going to make it. It stars Mel Gibson and Joaquin. I think it's in that sort of a thing too. So I think Signs gets a lot of respect as a better M. Night film. It really sort of pushes horror genres in a lot of different ways. It's more of you might consider it sci-fi and that sort of a thing too, and I get that, but it's also sci-fi horror too, like Alien was that previously hit my previous lists. Like that sort of a thing too. I didn't get any pushback from Alien in my list, even though it's a sci-fi film. Right? I also consider Godzilla a sci-fi horror film too, just as a heads up. Sorry about that. So I sneezed. All right. So here for you folks, number 8 once again is Signs. It's a great film, love it lots. 2002. Number 7, also a classic. Again, this is more meant for kids, right? And that sort of a thing too, like A Nightmare and 9 to the previously. This is Gremlins. It's 1984. It's directed by Dante. It stars Galligan. There's an A there. I apologize. Phoebe Cates and Hoyt Axton. For folks, I think you'll enjoy their starring role here a lot. So this is basically, now to be fair, it is set in Christmas too. So if you wanted to consider this a Christmas film, I would be fine with that. And that sort of a thing too, just like a previous scoring one, The Night Before Christmas. But yeah, it's good stuff. I like it lots. And that sort of a thing too, the basic concept of what will happen when when pets for kids run amok because they didn't obey the rules, right? That's sort of, I think, great stuff. Number 6, and a lot of folks might not consider this next one a horror film. Again, it's my list. It doesn't say it on the Wikipedia page. It says a thriller. And that sort of a thing too. As well as some other ones too, but I think it's a horror film. That's Silence of the Lambs from 1991. It's directed by Jonathan Demme. Stars Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins in one of my favorite portrayals of him. I think he just absolutely nails Hannibal. Also, Jodie Foster's a very strong actor here, and that sort of a thing too. It won tons of awards. Great stuff for creepy concepts. Now, again, you might consider this less of a horror film and more of a sort of a thriller, and I get that, but it's actually horror on some of the sites we look it up, like IMDb or something like that too. So I think it counts as a horror film too, because it's my list. It's an absolute classic. Love it lots. All right, now top 5. Number 5 is a horror film on the Wikipedia page too. I have defended this in my more recent. It was my 3rd film. And that sort of a thing, and more recent stuff that's made too. And it is horror, but I don't know that everybody considers it horror, but it is. And that's Predator from 1987. It's directed by John McTiernan. It stars Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger, in some great acting, that sort of a thing too. Strong stuff, all up and down the block for you folks. And I think it's an action sci-fi take on this, but it's great stuff. Love it lots. All right, so that's number 5. Number 4 is Ghostbusters for you folks. So this is a strong film, all up and down the blocks. It does lots of great stuff, and that sort of a thing too. But basically, what's happening here with the Ghostbusters concept? Well, and again, this was not listed as a horror film. Sorry about that on any places, but it actually is. It's a horror. They would say it's fantasy comedy. That sort of thing. It's got horror elements. It's all up and down the blocks, horror folks. So it's directed by Ivan Reitman. It stars many, including Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, Harold Ramis, and Rick Moranis too. Love it lots. I think it's an incredibly strong film. It's also one of my favorite comedy films too. Love it a lot. And comedy films can be horror films, just as it does. Now, top 3 time. Number 3 is also a film regularly not considered a horror film, not anywhere that I could find, and that's really, really sad. And that's Sixth Sense from 1999. It really put M. Night Shyamalan on the map. And it stars Bruce Willis, Haley Joel Osment, Tony Collette, Olivia Williams. It's a great film. If you haven't seen it, go watch that film. Now you're gonna love it. That sort of a thing too. So some people might consider it horror Jason or whatever, but it's horror. That's what it counts. Right, number 2 is The Blair Witch Project from 1999. It's directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. It stars Heather Donahue, Michael Williams, and Joshua Leonard too. So this film basically has it's set in Maryland, and it's the first of these lost tape concepts. It's the biggest sell. I'm not sure if it still is, but it was the best-selling independent horror film, certainly, and maybe one of the best-selling films of all time too. It's sort of introduced and made tons of bank. I actually saw it in the theaters. It made tons of bank with this idea of a lost tape and that sort of a thing too that was lost, and we're going to go and check out some of these things. It definitely feels like the horror short stories that I regularly write and review for this channel, and that sort of a thing too. So I think it's great. Love it lots. Number 1 is, let's write one in, from 2008. This is directed by Thomas. I think it's Thomas. It's a Danish name. Thomas Alfredson, and then it stars a few folks. I hope I pronounced his name right. Kari Hildebrand, Lena Leanderson, and Per Ragnar for you folks. It's basically what's happening here in this number 1 film for you folks. This is an absolute classic to my mind of new modern horror. It's more of a romance horror, if you will, and that sort of a thing too, between some young love. It's definitely some great stuff, lots, and that sort of a thing too. I think it's an absolute classic to my mind. It's great stuff. Now, it didn't make money. It might not be the best well known, but it's definitely a strong film. So if you haven't heard about it, check it out. For you folks, now let's go over my top 10 once more. For you folks, honorable mention is 9. Number 10 is Sleepy Hollow. Number 9 is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Number 8 is Signs. Number 7 is Gremlins. Number 6 is Silence of the Lambs. In the top 5 time. Number 5 is Predator. Number 4 is Ghostbusters. Number 3 is The Sixth Sense. Number 2 is The Blair Witch Project. And then number 1 is Let the Right One In for you folks. I hope you enjoyed that list lots. As a reminder, as I mentioned this before, I'm not a trained movie critic. I didn't go to film school, right? None of that stuff. I don't even make films for a living, right? I'm just a fan like you are. So I'm not coming to you from a place of expertise either, right? So just let me know what your thoughts are, and that sort of thing too. I'm sort of happy, more than happy, to engage you with it, to up and down the box for you folks. Have you seen these films? What would you consider them in this order and not? What would be your top 10 modern era from 1980 to today? And that sort of thing too. I think it's great stuff. Love it lots. And I'm happy to sort of engage you with it all up and down the blocks, right? And that sort of a thing too in the comments below. Happy to sort of talk with you about that stuff too. And there we go for you folks. Tomorrow I do something I call Serial Saturday, where I review older movie serials, and that sort of a thing too. So I'll be doing then my. I'll be doing. I did last week King of the Forest Rangers, and so now is the 30s. I think it's called Burnham Up Barn. It's a racing one. It's from the early 30s by an independent one. And then we have after that on Wednesday older video game reviews. Just a couple of days ago, I did my review of Sid Meier's single from 2002, a game that's only available on disc because it's a collaboration between two major companies and artists, and that sort of a thing too. It's a great game, but I think it's definitely unappreciated too for you folks. And then on Monday, do reviews of older modules and RPGs of the tabletop style or war games too. I just did X12's module Scarter's Mirror that are reviewed from Back Me and My Star too, and we'll probably be continuing that. I just don't know what I'm going to do yet, and that sort of a thing too. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to record that, just as a heads up. But that's my idea moving forward for you folks. And then 3 reviews a week of older things that you read in the science fiction, fantasy, and horror things to all up and down the box, as well as the occasional Let's Play too. So if that is those 7 older things, a week of older reviews, video games, movies, and things you read and things you play, do all sound like your cup of tea? Well then, great. Welcome to the channel and have a seat. I think you'll enjoy your time here quite a bit, all up and down the blocks for you folks. And while you're here, please do all the YouTube stuff, like hit the subscribe button, the like button, all that stuff too. No pressure, so if you don't want to do it, I'm not going to lose any sleep because you didn't sub to my channel, that sort of a thing. But anyway, but there you are. As you can tell from those 7 older things, it's the passion of this channel to find them for you and do all that good stuff for you folks. It's even where its name comes from too. It's a quote by a French philosopher, Jean Joubert, who says that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old stuff, right? All up and down the box, right? And in our passion for the new diversions of video games, movies, books, and that sort of a thing too, right? We have sometimes forgotten that these things are standing on the shoulders of giants for you folks too, right? All up and down the box. Not that the new things are bad by default or not, but you get the idea. So let's check out those giants. And there we go. I want to thank you so very, very much for just taking some time out of your day and even investing and watching my videos too, because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, right? And we're pulled in so many different directions too, right? So like you spent this time with me, that's incredibly humbling. And I appreciate that so very, very much. So thanks again. And have an amazing day.